Hello everybody. Today's video, what I'd like to cover is overstable mid-ranges. I'm going to be going over 7 discs I'm considering for the overstable mid-range slot in my minimal bag. It's one of those slots that I've gone back and forth on a lot on what I think works best, and I'm going to be testing these discs, both forehand and backhand, and see if we can narrow down what works best for my game. I'm going to be throwing how I throw. It's not perfect, but my main goal is just to continue to progress and get better regardless of perfection in the form. Okay, time to do some throwing here. We'll do 2 throws forehand and 2 throws backhand. Probably start with the backhands. It is a little bit windy, but these will have a tailwind, so that'll make them probably seem a little more overstable than they are. But we'll go ahead and start throwing down here, and we'll go in the order from least overstable to most overstable. Okay, so first we have the tempo. That was a nice straight shot. Definitely some overstability. Went pretty far actually. Tempo does tend to glide quite a bit. Let's try the entropy. Similar deal. That was pretty good. That's definitely a little less distance, a little more fade. Interesting. Okay. Gyrapalooza balance. Pulled it a little right, but that's a pretty decent throw. Not too bad. Definitely a little I threw it a little higher, but definitely showed some good overstability. Ultra. Ooh, a nice level throw there. Nice swing around to the left. That looked pretty darn good. Resistor. We're pretending it is a mid-range. Nice and flat. You know, that looked a lot like the Ultra. That was pretty good. Good fade to the left. Let's go with Firebird. A nice release. That one went pretty darn far. Nice fade. I'm feeling like these all are doing pretty darn well for me. Lastly, let's go with the Justice. Definitely starts to fade sooner and doesn't go as far. Okay, I'm going to go see how those all did, pick them up, and I'll be right back. I stacked these in order of how far they went, just for fun. Least distance to most distance, we ended up with Justice, Entropy, Resistor, Ultra, Tempo, Balance, and Firebird, distance-wise. I did not measure them. I'm going to say about 250 or so is about how far the farthest one went. So, give or take, maybe 260. As far as overstability goes, my throws were not all perfectly the same direction, so it's hard to say, but the 2 that landed furthest to the left were the Resistor and the Entropy. So, let's throw again. Let's try this again. Let's see what we get. I'm going to just leave them in that same order. The goats are freaking out and running around. Hey goats! I think they're going to come and join me. How fun. Well, we'll see what they think of my discs flying. Okay, let's go with Firebird. I will not hit the goats. A little higher up. Definitely going to fade more due to that, and it landed kind of by the pond over there. Next, balance. A little hyzer release. That was a good throw though. That was a nice feel, and it faded just about exactly right. Kind of a medium distance throw and a decent amount of fade. Okay, let's go with Tempo. Try for a level release. Here we go, right over the goats. Yeah, it was a nice fade. It was definitely more straight, more glide, a little longer. If you want a little more distance. Okay, Ultra. Oh, and I slipped, but that was still a decent distance for these. And it was a little high, but not too bad. I'm gonna try to not die here and slip. Okay, Resistor. Oh, God. All up in the air. But they're all going about to the same spot over there. So let's try Entropy. There we go. That was a nice level, normal amount of fade. Definitely seems like it's a little more overstable than the Tempo. Not as much as some of these others. Justice. That was a really nice throw. Justice, definitely shorter. It's just not going to go as far. Okay, I'm going to go gather those up. Okay, so this time, distance-wise, Justice, Entropy. I think that was the same last time. Ultra, Tempo, Resistor, Balance, Firebird. Firebird was a bit higher, which makes it surprising it went the farthest. But it also went the farthest to the left. As far as how far they went to the left, we got about the same between the Resistor and the Balance. And last time, Resistor was also farthest to the left. I'm not counting the Firebird. It was definitely all the way farthest to the left because I threw it so high. But interesting. All right, let's do this again. This time, we're going with forehand throws. I feel like forehand for this slot matters a lot because, you know, this is kind of like choosing your go-to disc to curve to the right when you need that to happen. Also, it can be nice to flick a disc for approach. So let's try this. Try not to hit the goats. This is the only one that would be at risk, I think, of hitting them. Okay, Justice. A little low, right around the goats. Nice. And it skipped. That actually worked okay. It was kind of a short flight because it was so low, but it definitely was overstable. Okay, straight again. Here's the Entropy. Okay, that one held straight almost the whole time. Kind of a level throw. Did not fade to the right hardly at all. Ultra. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Pretty far. Really nice fade. To the right. Let's try the Tempo. Definitely low. Definitely straight. Barely faded at the end. Almost exactly the same as the Entropy. Interesting. The four speeds are behaving the same. Not the same numbers on them. Resistor. Let's see what we get with this. Low. Ooh, a nice fade. Really nice fade. Okay. That went pretty far and faded really nice at the end. Okay, let's go with the Balance. Okay, nice far and nice fade. Very similar to the Resistor, actually. And now the Firebird that we would expect to go the farthest, we'll see. That was pretty level, a little high again. Nice fade. Right in the middle. Landed it, you know, right in the direction I was aiming my target back there. Okay, I'll be right back. Well, the goats followed me back this time, so now they're right in my way and they want to see what I've got here. Anyway, so what do we get? We want everything to be to the right this time, where it was a forehand, so I'm just going in order of furthest right this time. Definitely this guy. Some of this is not fair because I did not throw them all straight, but we'll factor that in. So Justice, furthest right, pretty short throw distance. Entropy, Tempo, similar throw distance, but just went straight. Not my favorite. Okay, next we had Ultra, really nice fade. I liked it. Firebird was a little farther, similar behavior. And then we had also a great throw, similar to the Balance. These two both were thrown a little more to the left of the target, but faded really nicely. So I'd say these guys are similar as well. We're kind of narrowing this down, but let's go ahead and throw one more time forehand and see if looks like the goats have cleared out of the way, so we're gonna go with that and go ahead and throw. So random order, Balance first. Let's let Ruby get out of my way. Go ahead, Ruby, good girl. All right, here goes the Balance. I think I naturally just throw the exact amount to the right, or excuse me, to the left to get that thing to land straight line with the target. That was a great fade, great distance. Let's go tempo, see if we fade at all. Nice, straight, flat, and dang, that thing just goes straight. That tempo, very straight on the forehand. Resistor. A little higher, same direction on all these guys. At least I'm being consistent. Landed right in line with my straight ahead target. Ultra. Little slip. Same direction, same behavior. Very nice. These are a little more scientific of a test so far, since they're all the same throw direction. Let's go with Firebird. Same throw direction, a little hyzer release on that guy. That was a really nice fade and good distance. Justice. A little further left than I've been going, so I didn't get a chance to come back very far. Interesting. Okay, Entropy. Ooh, slight anhyzer. Just tries to come out of it a tiny bit right before it hits the ground. Okay, I'm gonna go grab those. Made it back. So, got them in order, furthest right, furthest left to furthest right, and kind of in order of distance as well. So Entropy went straight the direction I threw it, which was right. Not great forehand. Faded a tiny bit more than the Tempo tried to do, which didn't really do it all. Okay, then we had Justice, which didn't go as far, did fade better. Then we've got Ultra and Balance, which basically did the exact same thing. Resistor faded a little more because it was a higher throw. And then we had definitely the most fade and distance on the Firebird. So let's think about this and we'll wrap it up here in a moment. All right, I thought I'd finish up over here with the goats as they're trying to find some weeds to eat by the river. Anyway, all right, I think I summed up some of this already. What makes the most sense for my minimal bag overstable mid-range slash approach slash slight driverish stuff considered there as well. But I do want one disc for this slot. Have I narrowed it down all the way? I'm not sure. Like I said, these two are out. Entropy and Tempo are great discs, but they're not meeting my needs for this slot. Justice, I don't know. I like the disc, but I just feel like it's not as fun to throw for some reason. So it just kind of, it immediately starts to turn left when you get a nice flat throw on it. And or right in the case of a forehand. Now that can be really ideal. So if you don't want to throw very far and you want it to fade reliably, Justice is the way to go. Probably my two top contenders here are the Ultra and the Balance. I'm leaning toward the Ultra. Straight up, just like it more. I like the disc more. I chose it. This one was a mystery box find, which is awesome. Another thing that is not amazing for this though is I believe they're changing the flight characteristics of the Balance disc in general. So the one that was released with Jarapalooza is basically the only one that flies how it does. So you can't really buy this disc as it is that I tested today, according to my understanding. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. So, given that silly detail, I think I do like the Ultra the most so far. These two discs are really great. As far as a longer distance disc for forehanding, I'm gonna have to say I probably prefer the Firebird. It's gonna go a little farther and it's gonna fade a little more. And I think, usually your point in having a disc like this is you really want it to go to the right on a forehand throw. So I think between these two, which are more or less a toss-up, I probably am leaning toward the Firebird. So that leaves me with needing to test these two against each other. I think what I'm going to do is test these in an actual round, and we're going to see how they, see if the Firebird can do what I want the more mid-range approach disc to do if I don't throw it too hard. Maybe that's a hassle and I won't worry about it, but we'll see. We'll test it out. So stay tuned. I will share these Overstable mid-range / drivers in the next video. And if you guys have any suggestions of other discs to consider for this mid-range extra Overstable, but not as much as the Justice, please let me know. And love to hear your comments. Again, doing my best here, learning as I go, having fun. I do not throw perfect. I don't think most people do, but I do feel like I'm making a lot of progress and it's a lot of fun. So what do you think, Leo? You're gonna sniff the discs right as we finish this up? Hey, buddy. Well, that one freaked him out. He ran away. Okay, I'm afraid of the Resistor too. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.